guys, Justin Fuller, Director of Digital Sales for TrueSpot. Today I want to talk to you about Chula Vista Honda. They're part of the Desert Auto Group out in California. Now on their campus, they happen to have a Honda location, a Ford location, and a Kia location. Used cars are spread amongst all of these, so you can understand how keys and vehicles can get moved around, mixed up, and misplaced. Now they can open up an app, open up the TrueSpot dashboard, and quickly see the location of a key or a vehicle anywhere on their massive campus. Check this out. So on vehicles, this is what we're using. This goes around the rearview mirror of the vehicle. So you throw this on there, my tracking tag lives right here. Now on the back, there's a QR code, and this is what allows you to connect it to a specific stock or VIN. So this is what I'm using on vehicles. Now these guys happen to have a key track machine. So we've taken our tracking tags for keys and placed it on the key track fob. Understand, you don't have to have a key machine. This works with keyboards, pegboards, key track, keeper, one micro. You pick a machine or no machine at all, this will work. Can even do this in service, and I've got a whole different way I can show you, which I've got those tags back there. What does it look like to run a search, right? So let's talk about that. I'm sharing my phone onto the screen. If I jump in here, let's say for the sake of this, just to pick something quickly, I wanted to collect this BMW, right? It's 2024 BMW. First, it's gonna show me the location of the vehicle, and then right above the vehicle, it's gonna tell me, hey, this is on the Ford Kia new car lot, Northwest. And if I wanna zoom out to see more, or zoom in, I absolutely can. When you walk out to the pin drop, if you're standing there, the car should be within a few spots of where you're at. So if you're on the pin drop, look to your left, look to your right, give me a couple spots, you're on the car, right? So it's gonna show you and tell you. And if you're walking around out there, you'll appear as a blue dot on the map so you can see yourself in relation to either the vehicle or the key that you're looking for. Now, if we jump over to the key, it's then gonna pull up and show me where the key is at. And above the map, it'll tell me, hey, this is in the Ford Kia key track system as we speak. So if I had somebody walk in the front door and ask about this car, I could pull up the stock, search it, see the keys in the key track, see where the vehicle is out on the new car lot. I can say, hey, why don't I grab the key? We'll walk out there together. I can see it's not too far away. Versus, hey, let me hunt down the key. Let me go find it real quick, and then let me walk the lot and hit the alarm and find that, and then I'll pull it around for you 20 minutes later. Efficiency just got better, and your customer experience got better. Now, the question I get quite a bit is, how close can you walk me up to a key, right? If I'm within 50 feet, that does me no good. So let's talk about that. If I jump in here and said, hey, I'm looking for a specific car. So let's say we grab 3646, right? That's the last four of it. And I go, cool, it's this 22 Honda Accord. I click into it, and then I can see where the key is at. It says, cool, it's in the sales tower right now. Perfect example. So what happens? I walk into the sales tower, and I'm like, now what, right? It should be in here. Maybe I can ask a few guys, but if I can't find it, when I get close to the pin drop on here, you'll see this find a tag button, and it'll light up green. When that happens, you can select it. Two things are gonna happen. You're gonna see this screen, a white ball appear here in the middle. From there, if you're walking around in that room, as you walk closer to that key tag, that white ball will move down towards the bottom. When you get to the immediate section, you're standing within 1 to 2 feet of that tag. And of course, if you're walking the wrong way, right, that white ball will move up to the red section. So this is gonna happen to start you. The second part to that is there's an LED inside the tag that'll start flashing. So if you were in an inventory manager's office and they had a ton of keys laid out, you could hit this and go, oh, it's that one. Or if keys were hanging on a keyboard or something like that, maybe it's in detail, recon, that sort of area, it would start flashing and I would go, oh, okay, it's this one, and be able to grab it instead of looking through all of them and reading these little stupid tags, right? So here we are on the desktop dashboard, and this is where things get a little bit different from the phone app where you might just want to search out a single key or a single vehicle at once, right? So the first thing you can see here is the network that we've established out at the stores. We've created this network using LoRa, that's low range radio and Bluetooth. And we use some different gateways and some different pieces to make that. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, I'd be happy to visit with you on a demo or a phone call to explain exactly how that works. So all of this will be custom to your store. Now, once we have this set up, this is where things get really cool. If I want to turn on the pins and say, hey, show me all of my keys all at once, I can see that. So now I'm looking at all the keys for the Honda store, the Ford store, and the Kia store at once. So at the end of a night, if I see any keys out on the lot, let's pretend, let's say this one that's down here in the staging area, I can hover over it and it'll tell me the stock number, or I can click in it and it'll present me with any keys that are living in that geo-fenced area over to the right. And if I wanted to turn off the map, I could create a list view, and then I can actually export this list to an Excel sheet file. But what happens if something leaves the campus? Then what? Well, let's talk about that for a second. If I scroll across the top here, there is a last sightings category for inventory and one for keys. Anytime a key tag or a vehicle tag leaves the campus, it's going to start a timer on it. So if you said, hey, I want to know any vehicles that have been off my campus for more than 4 hours, cool, you got a list of 7 of them. Here's your list of all 7 vehicles that have left the campus and been gone for more than 4 hours, but less than 24 hours. If you wanted to take that further and go to the next tab down, you can say, hey, show anything that's been gone for more than 24 hours, but less than 72. Here's a list of vehicles. Now, there may be a note tied to this. Understand you can leave notes in our system, right? You can check that here. Or maybe it lives in your CRM tool, or maybe you have loaner paperwork, or maybe you have something going on with this vehicle that you know specifically about. But if not, there are really easy ways to tell if vehicles or if keys have left the campus. Now, you may be asking yourself, hey, this is cool. I know that I can come check this. Can I receive alerts? The answer is absolutely. We can set you up with custom alerts related to keys or vehicles or both in an amount of time that you pick. So if you say, hey, I want to know anytime a key or vehicle is gone for more than 2 hours, cool, we'll set you up to receive an alert to know that. If a key or a vehicle leaves with an employee, there are ways to track it off the campus. Let me explain how that works. You could shoot me a text and go, Justin, will you do me a favor? We just open the TrueSpot app. When I open the app, it can ping this tag off the campus at my house. So we would quickly know, hey, the key isn't lost forever. It just went to lunch with our guy, or it went home with our guy. We need to get the key back to the campus. Now, you can also use this if you wanted to go drop off a key in a vehicle, let's say at a third-party vendor where you don't have the network set up. Maybe it's a guy you use every once in a while for like wet body sanding or tint. You could drive it over there, open the app, allow it to ping the key and the vehicle off the campus, and then you would know, hey, we can see where this is on the map, on the app, and on the dashboard. Days in inventory. If you said, hey, can you show me everything that's 60 to 89 days old and where it's living on this specific campus? Absolutely, I can. Here are all of those vehicles. If you wanted a list of them, I could provide you a list. Or if you want to just see where they're sitting, because you might say, hey, what are the chances that I'm going to sell an old age unit if it's sitting back here in this lot where no customer is ever going to see it? I may want to get these specific vehicles and move them up front. I want to get them in front of more eyes because they're costing me money just sitting on the dealership lot. Let's talk about how your photographer could use this. You can probably start to figure this out really quickly. Man, if he could find keys and cars quicker, the guy could take pictures up and get my used cars up quicker, my new cars up, whatever you want him to take photos of. But what if you were able to click on a filter like I have and show him the locations of vehicles that need photos, right? So not only can he see where they're at, but then he could go, okay, well, I don't want to just grab random keys and walk around, but what if I come up here to this specific area and grab only what's in this area, right? These 6 keys, and go out there and take the pictures of those vehicles because I'll be able to get to them faster. You can help this guy find keys quicker. You can help him find the vehicles faster, but you can make him more efficient because he can see the location of several of them that he needs to take pictures of and get to them quicker. Now, with tracking keys and tracking vehicles comes reporting. It's available to you if you want to take advantage of it. This first one you're looking at is a test drive report, right? So we can view when vehicles leave and how long they're gone for. So if you said, hey, I'm going to deem anything that's a test drive more than 10 minutes but less than 30, right? They drove it around the block, they drove it a mile or 2 away and drove it back. Well, now I can provide you a list with every stock number and VIN that left the campus for 10 to 30 minutes. And I can even tell you on certain days. So if you said, hey, I want to go back a couple days to the 14th, cool, here's a list of all the vehicles that got driven 10 to 30 minutes those days. If you said, hey, I want to know if some of those vehicles were driven more than once, well, that's right here in the middle. So you can see which vehicles were driven more than one time or multiple times. Here's another report that you could use. This is easily usable in recon or for my guys that track through service departments. What this does is it provides you a list of any vehicle that's been sitting stagnant, meaning it hasn't moved. It's not moving through a recon process to a service department, right? It's just sitting still in the same spot. And what they're able to do is come over to the toggle and go over to 1 day and go, okay, show me all the vehicles that haven't moved in 1 day. Or, hey, let me go to 2 days and let's see what's been sitting for 2 days. And if I get to a point where I'm like, all right, cool, nothing's been moving for 2 days, but maybe I want to look at the stuff that's been sitting for 1 day. So I can see tag number 68, 279, 233. These are specific hang tag numbers for service vehicles. This way they can make sure vehicles aren't just sitting there falling through the cracks, not getting worked on or not getting taken care of in recon or whatever part of your process you'd want to use this at. All right, guys, so if tracking keys or tracking vehicles is something you're interested in, or tracking both, or maybe you're saying, hey man, you mentioned something about service. I want to learn how I can track vehicles in service or track keys in service or track both. Let's talk about that. Let's set up a demo. Let's talk about your store, your needs. Maybe you've got a single lot. Maybe you got multiple lots. Maybe you got a parking structure that you want to track through different levels. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's, hey man, I just have a small store with keyboard. I don't have a key machine. I need to know where keys are when they come off the board. We can do all of these things. Give me a call, text, email. Let's talk about your store.